Hello.
Hey, sorry,
Hi, sorry. And
Michael.
Michael, that's the
Welcome.
first time you're here, isn't it? Welcome.
Hey, yeah, glad to be here.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy,
And
Hannah.
Jeremy, good to see you.
Hey,
Hannah,
Maureen.
Maureen,
Hi.
and Suze.
Hello.
Hi, good to see you. And Harlan,
Hey.
so good to see you. Yeah, there are not that many people. I haven't shared the link today. I normally share it on Discord, but all you guys are on Discord and you found the link. Um, so I
Yeah.
assume
Do you usually share it on the YouTube
in
channel, or is it
yeah,
only
yeah,
in
in the
the?
members area, but everybody in the members area also have the links to Discord. I just assume people know.
Should you go send out? Hey, Phoebe.
Good to
Hey.
see you, Phoebe. Hi.
Should you go
I,
send?
I can I can check on Discord too. I had pointed a few people on Discord to the link, so I'll let me grab my phone. I can
Thank
see
you
if
so
Well,
much,
there's
would you do
people
Hannah.
that, Hannah? Thank you
asking.
Thank
so much,
you.
Hannah. That's super kind. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, just to yeah, I don't know if you can do an add everyone so everybody can see where it
Yeah,
is.
that'd be helpful.
Yeah, if that's possible. Just assume.
I know.
Of course, people know where we are. Of course, everybody has a link. It might be a good idea to actually share with you.
There does tend to be a lot of confusion.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and also when it's Tuesday and when it's Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Susan is in the waiting room.
Oh, cute. Amazing.
And Patty, good to see you. Yeah, Leela is not here either.
No, right. Hmm.
Goodness, goodness. Okay. Looks like we're gonna have a
Sm-
selected crowd of people
Small
that
crowd today.
cracked the code and found us.
Yes. And Susan, I assume you're listening in, but I hope the hope things are going well while you're listening. Oh, you're
Thanks so
there.
much.
Hey.
I've got I've got a half hour here and then I'm on my way to the dentist. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
That's awesome. I'm glad you could log in it now, and
Me
hopefully everybody will
too.
just sit there and zone out during the
Yeah, I was telling
going.
Todd yesterday, I have dental surgery today at 10, and so I'm gonna listen in on to you guys. And yeah, I'm like, oh.
oh my God. And remember, it's the comparison I always use that this now that is here right now, this snapshot of a now right here, it's exactly the same as if you're having a warm bath or having a root canal. Because it's only in the comparison with a previous moment that a root canal is unbearable and a bath is wonderful. In the snapshot of right now, when you don't have any starting point and you don't add anything to this moment right now, it's just an arising. And you don't even know that arising is arising. That arising is only noted if you compare to the moment when the arising wasn't there. So it's really going to the dentist. It's really a great exercise in focusing on the now and now and now and focusing that how much is fear and previous experiences and uncomfortable ideas about what is actually happening and what is actually happening in this moment right now. Is this moment really that unbearable? Is this moment really filled with fear? Or is that just a thought, mental formations that is added to the experience in the rawness of the experience, going to the dentist and having root canal or dental surgery or whatever, it's nothing. It is the same as having a warm bath. The experience is just what is unfolding and unfolding and unfolding, and without any comparison with anything previous or anything to end ever. It's just an unfolding. It can only be a bad experience if we add an opinion to it. But without thoughts, without mental formations, and without opinions, it's just an unfolding. And being curious to that experience, it can be an amazingly beautiful experience.
Mm. It's interesting because when I have had dental stuff, you just numb the whole time. It's not like, and so I do find, I think I'm more scared ahead of time than once I like, I just want it to
Right.
be over at this point because when I'm in the chair, all you have to do is keep your mouth open and relax, and everything's numb, and
Yeah, but
yeah.
also
So
also look into what is that fourth fetter wanting something else than what is here right now, because the fourth fetter is all about that something is happening and we do not want what is happening. We want an alternative happening to happen, something that is not happening, and that what is not happening is so much better than what is happening right now. But that is just mind noise. That is just thoughts. There is nothing better than what is happening right now. Everything else is just thoughts. So when you have that feeling, I'm so wishing for this to be over. What is it right now that is so unbearable that you want it to be over? What is it when it's over that is better than what is happening right now? And ask yourself, are you sure? Are you sure about that? Or is it just an idea of what is happening?
yeah, because right now I feel like it's just all the ideas. Like, I hope it goes well, and I hope it's effective, and I hope there's not an infection, and I hope like that,
Yeah.
I'm in that space right now. Like, I
Yeah.
just want it to be done, and I want it to be over, so there's no trauma and no
Yeah.
drama. And of course, I'm creating all this trauma and drama at the
Exactly.
moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All
And I have a trip planned next week. I'm like, if something goes wrong, I can't do the trip, and and it's like this whole, yeah, I'm very drama queen at the moment.
Yeah, but but instead of judging yourself being a drama queen, then just really really notice what is that what is that diverting your attention from? What is it that is arising in your
Uh,
body right now that the drama queenness is diverting you from? Because something here right now is here that you don't want to feel, that you don't want to feel in your body and have an experience about in your body. So therefore you're diverting into the drama queenness. But there's no difference from right now to when you're in the dentist chair that now, or when you're on your trip next week now. There's no difference. It's still only experienced as a now. What is making it different is the comparisons we do with other nows that we have experienced, or thought created nows that will happen. But those are just mental formations. There is just this now right now. And without any comparison to anything, it's just what is arising. And can you be in a body that is in this now right now?
and I think like what I feel right now when just feel it's that kind of like it doesn't, I don't feel that solid. It feels like uncertain. It feels like this,
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, then I say that, and then I feel so much calmer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
very often it's just about saying it out loud. They're like things that are hidden in the body and all the crooks and nannies that we have. Almost nailing it. Nooks and crannies that we have, that all of those things are hidden. And then just by acknowledging it's there, just by seeing it, just by hearing it out loud, it completely calms down.
Yeah, because it's that feeling of like, I want to almost say ungroundedness or something. It's like, as opposed to feeling like solid, I just feel,
Yeah.
just.
But even that is an explanation of what you feel. If you just stay with the feeling and not put a label on it, but just experience how is this moment and how is this moment, and just keep breathing into it. Can you be in a body where this is arising, and just stay with that?
So funny. It's once again, you go inside and it's not so bad. It's
I know. I know.
it's so funny. Like, I'm like, oh, I can sit with that.
But
I can sit with that.
it's because the first time you experienced it, you were immature. You didn't have the maturity that you have now. So therefore we have an assumption of how it is going to be experienced. But then when we now just allow to experience it, it is just what is here, and it's absolutely doable.
Yeah, now I just feel all this like, fears coming up, like,
Yeah.
just yeah, uncertainty, I think, would be the best
Yeah.
word for it.
So it probably has hooks back into a childhood experience where you didn't know what was going to happen and you felt fearful and you didn't have the emotional maturity or the experience of what was actually going to happen. So a lot of feelings were, manifested into the body and kind of like stored into the body. And that is every time now you go to the dentist, that is exactly what is being tickled, but not really experienced. So just by allowing it now to be there, and if memories about being a child and being at the dentist come up, then you just with little Susan, push it. You're just with little Susan and with whatever you're experiencing, and of course you can manage it. Of course you can be in a body and experiencing it.
So that's my work, just to experience, allow,
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was a bit of a sidetrack.
It was. It
It
was.
was
It was good.
nice
It was
sidetrack.
really good. Yeah.
I got something to show you guys. And Todd is gonna hate it.
That is cringing.
It's Todd's book.
Oh,
It's Todd's book. Look at that.
The proof came
It's the
yesterday.
proof, so it says proof not for sale here. It's called Only in Your Mind. And it's he has made an amazing picture where on the front here, on the back of it, that white space, there's a body without a head falling. So the headless falling in a void that is on the back, on the spine of it. And then all the poems, or a lot of
Many of the
many
poems,
of the things that are happening in the poems, you can find hidden here. For example, little goldfish up there. There's a little poem about a goldfish that I love so much. You're just rooting for that little guy. You can be so invested in a little goldfish when you read it. It's really, really good. It's it's really, really good. So this is the book.
It's a tiny book.
It's a tiny book, and
really
it's
light evening read.
and it's like he says, what does you call it? Beach reading material.
Yeah.
Beach reading material about suicide ideations and depression and anxiety, and so it's really, a lot of it is super, super heavy stuff, but it has Todd's humor, so it's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
Nice, baby.
And it's not, all this is just something we're telling you guys. And do you have the link?
I do.
We have a link that we want to share with you, and it's just for you guys. We haven't shared it with others. So we're gonna share it, so you don't look at it now because we have a meeting. And you can't have 20 people leaving because you're watching videos. But Todd, he has spoken
Four of the poems.
Four of them, but the link we'll send to you are two of the links that he is speaking some of the poems.
Well, it's a link to the regular website. Our regular website now has a page for the book, which has just started. So there's a kind of an about thing, and then there's the two videos of two of the poems that are on it. Eventually, I think I'm going to have more of the poems, and
he's going to have more of the poems.
There's going to be more stuff.
That's going to be more of the poems, and he's already. Todd. He's really, playing it down, and then he married me. So poor guy. And he's already started with contacting some of his musician friends to make collaborations. So there's going to be some of the poems that I read with musicians, and we're going to do book readings, touring the world with book readings,
touring the capital region,
with book readings where musicians are playing as well.
Maybe.
And Todd is creating. And Todd is creating music for. He already has some of the music. There's one of them that he really was in doubt about putting in one of the poems. I was really in doubt of putting in. And we're gonna find some great musicians to do. And there's another one called PSA, a narcissistic playbook. You can guess what that is about. That we all also have ideas for the music. It's It's gonna be so amazing. I'm so excited. I've been like all morning. I can't contain it in my little body. I'm like so super excited about this. And he's the calm, stoic one. I'm not. I'm gonna be running around in a gymnasium or library or wherever it is that you're reading and being all excited. I'm so excited. It's so good. It's so good. You'll love it. You're gonna love it so much.
I love it so much.
The book is so good.
Thank you,
the
babe.
poems are so good. It's about men's mental health, but obviously
everybody's
mental health, but a very clear focus on men's mental health because it was Todd's own experience with paranoia, anxiety, suicidal ideations, agoraphobia, the full throttle suicidal ideas. And there's one of the poems that is called A Millimeter in 40 Years, where he's sitting with a gun in his. I'm giving all of it away. It's so fucking good.
Pace yourself, babe. Pace yourself.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So it's something you should read when you're stable. You shouldn't read it when you're standing on the cliff and considering if you jump. But don't pick up that book. Don't pick up that book.
But I mean, the hope is that, because it is also about the awakening path. And so it's kind of flips back and forth in time between stuff which was actually written originally when I was going through a lot of the stuff. And so it's a combination of things that were written a long time ago and then kind of updated and then stuff that's just
ago.
And then stuff written this year. So it's constantly, it's non-linear. So you're
like
having
awakening path.
Exactly. So you're having these experiences and there are like direct pointing things. So it's
you also made some of those that are really, really, really good. As he's going through all 10 fetters in the book, but it's not written like in your face 10 fetter. You need to. What I really find brilliant about the book is that when you read it, if you don't know anything about the fetters and you don't know anything about awakening, you will read the poem and you will know that there's something you don't know. It's not going to be completely over your head, but you will know there's something you don't know, and you will be curious to know more about what it is you don't know. You have that feeling like there's more depth to this than just what I think it is. So there's so many things embedded in every poem, and then you also have very direct pointing to all 10 fetters mixed in with it. And because it's not linear in any way, you have like first fetter issues where he's not even aware that he believes that he's a self. And then you have a pointing to 10th fetter where it's just about complete openness. And then you have also the part where you are so sure that you have seen through all fetters. You are actually basically enlightened. And what everybody else are telling you that you're not, it's their shit. They need it's complete bypassing. Isn't that called bypassing 101? Yeah. So it's like, and in it there is so much humor, touch humor that he has, that is just lifting everything up and making everything, because it can be so heavy sitting and listening about wishes of suicide and wishing to be dead and all of that, and not want to do that, because why would that be any better than what I have right now? And then he has this flair with words. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Thank you, babe.
Anyways, it's not published yet. You can't even buy it anywhere. You can't buy it anywhere. There's no point. You can't buy it.
This is an advertisement for something that does not exist.
Yeah, I'm just super excited. This is what is alive in me right now. Very much alive right now.
I have to say, just so Pernille's not the only one singing the praises, last night at 4 a.m, I got the link and I got up and listened to his 2 video. I couldn't read the book, but I got, and I was up all night. They're like raps. It's like poetry, spoken word to kind of rhythmically, and they're so engaging, and you'd have to literally hear it 20 times to even get what's being said, because it's so profound and it's really beautiful. So, and very unique and very different. It's like a rapper went through all 10 fetters and woke up and took all the toxicity and the grief of pre-awakening, and actually there's freedom in all the poems, because well, the ones I heard, so it's not depressing at all.
No, exactly.
It's so anyway, I just want to be put in one other chime other than you, because they know you're biased. And so-
Completely. Yeah, we cannot trust him for anything.
I'm not
But
biased.
thank you,
I
Leila.
recognize quality. It's really, really good.
You're not biased. Okay, you're not biased.
Thank you so much, Leila. though.
I'm in
Thank you so
denial, but
much.
I'm not biased.
Thank you so much. It's so sweet.
Thank you, Leila.
Um,
Thank you.
thank you.
So yeah, go and check it out. I can see a lot of people already they're probably sitting and watching it. I'm sure they are watching it. They're not doing other stuff. I'm sure they're watching.
Of course, man.
Okay, so yeah, that's what's alive here.
Promotion over. Um,
No, they can't buy it. It's not
I know.
a promotion.
No.
It's not a promotion when they can't buy it.
It's true.
It's just we've been talking about this for so long, and
I
now it's
know.
here, and it arrived
Yeah.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and it looks so good. It looks so good.
So, thank you, babe.
Yep.
So should we do a little tuning in
Yeah, I
meditation?
can't
down
sit
from
still.
this,
Yeah, you
or-
have to come. You
Okay,
have to come. I
okay.
can't
So-
calm down.
So, and Caesar, yes, Pernille is definitely the best promoter ever. She's Don King has nothing on Pernille.
He often come for advice.
Right?
He often come for advice.
He did.
Good. Yeah,
All right, so
yeah. I can't stand to.
I had an idea actually the other
I
day.
think I
that
should
was
go and
thinking of.
jump in the garden
Do
instead.
you want to go jump and shake?
Yeah, in the garden. Yeah.
Yeah, I had, and this is incidentally an idea that I had the other day for one that I haven't made into anything yet, and it's not just because it's also relevant to the title of the book, but I think it's actually something that it's kind of pointing to a sixth Fetter experience. So if you'd like to get yourself comfortable,
Okay. Let's focus on that.
okay. All right. Get yourself comfortable. Settle in. I need to also get myself comfortable. Take a few deep breaths. On the next exhalation, let go of any expectations for this meditation, this meeting, this day. Just resolve to be right here, absolutely present, with no distractions. And if distractions come, resolve that there's no judgment about those distractions. Feel yourself here in this room. Feel the weight of the body. Feel it pressing against the chair, the floor, your back against the backrest. Whatever you're feeling that gives you this sensation of density, a sensation of being a body. Feel all around the boundaries of the body. Notice where there are warm spots, cold spots. Notice where you feel pressure, what we take to be the feeling of weight, the feeling of being grounded. Notice also the places where you don't feel pressure. Places that feel the opposite of being grounded. Places that might feel boundaryless, buzzing, tingling, effervescent. Like there's really no distinction between where the body begins and the space around it ends. take note of any feelings in your face. Feel around the eyes, perhaps the pressure of closed lids pushing against the eyeballs themselves. Notice if there's any tension in the brow, pressure around the eyelids, feelings in the cheeks, sinuses. We're not trying to change anything, and we're not really trying to label anything. We're just noticing the actual experience of that sensation as it shows up. Take in the feelings of the top of the head and the back of the head. And holding these sensations in the head in a little bit of priority, notice also the rest of the feelings of the body. So it's all sort of present, but you're noticing especially those sensations around the face, around the eyes, elements that we often take to be the center of where we are. And I want you to notice, do these sensations, particularly the ones around the head and the face, but also the ones in the rest of the body, do these sensations seem to be appearing outside of the mind or inside of it? Where do you take that mind to be, that internal experience where we often have visual imagery, the sound of our own voice, all the replays of memories, all those anxious projections of what's to come later today or next month, all of those dialogues that we hold with people who aren't actually here? Are they happening within the physical boundaries of these sensations that are taken as the face, the top of the head, the back and sides of the head? Are they bound by the torso, the arms, the legs and feet? Is it possible to experience it and recognize that those sensations are happening inside of the boundaries of the mind? These sensations are happening in the exact same place as all of those internal images and monologues. Can you feel that those sensations themselves are not actually even real sensations? They are a mental representation of where in the body they might be happening, what they might look like, and what they might feel like. Are those sensations a solid thing? Are they really tangible? Are they permanent, stable, unchanging? The more you focus on any of them, the more they start to shift and mutate, relocating, changing in density. Can you feel that all you are ever experiencing with them is just a representation in the mind of something which is taken to be an actual sensation? In your direct experience of just the physical field, is the body actually outside of the mind or purely a construct within it? Now I'd like you to lower your head, keep your eyes closed for another second, lower your head so that you're looking down, and then slowly open your eyes and notice the legs, feet, hands, arms, and torso that appear. Are those limbs and torso actually outside of the body, outside of the mind? The rational, logical mind will often chime in and say, of course, I can see them outside. So they are existent outside of me, outside of the mind. But can you know these body parts without them being represented in your internal mental world? Does what you are seeing actually correlate with the sensations that are appearing? Is the visual field and its representation of the body actually the same thing as what you take the body to be? In other words, are you seeing a body or are you seeing a mental visual representation of it? Perhaps try wiggling your toes or your hands and see how closely the sensations that arise are actually correlated with the movement showing up in your visual field. The more you play with this, the more you might find that the two are happening in very different places. And that the sensation really doesn't match up with the movement. And then I would like you to lift your head up and take in the entirety of the room around you and the space that you're in. And if at first it seems like this is a real world outside of a me, I want you to recognize that everything that you are seeing is your own interpretation, the mind's representation of something which is ungraspable and ultimately unknowable. So even though it seems like this is a true world outside of us that we can relate to in some limited capacity, notice that everything that you are seeing is not happening out there. It's also happening within the confines of the mind. This world is being recreated moment by moment by your mind, and it conforms to all of the biases and preconceived notions, all of the prior experiences that have been taken in, that color this experience, that make it seem one way or another, that imbue it with a certain character, emotionality, feeling of danger or safety, feeling of separation or connection. All of that is your own projection as the mind is constantly recreating this world. Everything that you see is only your own reflection. Every person you encounter, every animal, every inanimate object, it is all a part of your mind. Nothing is existing for you in this moment outside of that mind. See if you can really experience the world from that perspective. And if you can't, that's fine. It's something to recognize that suddenly brings everything into a clearer, closer sort of focus. It's something that helps break down that boundary and create the feeling, the recognition that, of course, there is a oneness with everything because it is all you. It is all the mind. At first, we might identify with it, and that's fine. But when that identification falls, then it is simply just everything being everything with no distinction between an inside boundary of a body, an outside boundary of a world, or a blending of the two. Everything you experience is all happening in the same space, and there is no distinction between characters in it or objects. If you can feel into that, just try to stay there for as long as you can. See if you can keep checking in with that throughout this session. And when other people are speaking, remember that the way that you are seeing them, your interpretations of what they are saying, experiencing, what you are hearing, is all coming from within your own mind. And allow that to inform any judgments that might arise, any aggravation, boredom, feelings of wanting for things to be different than they are. Recognize that this is only your projection and what it might say about things that you could do well to look into. Thank you very much.
That was brilliant.
Thank you.
Oh, that was good.
Thanks.
I said something, I forgot what it was. In the beginning of the sixth Fetter. I can't remember the word. It was a sentence that just went deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper when you said it. Really, really good.
Thanks, man.
Your phone is buzzing all the time. Is it something relevant?
Speakers. Nope.
No, okay, good.
Amazing. Nope.
Good. Okay.
So let's see. We are open for business. If you have any questions, anything, we do have at least one or two new people. I haven't seen the full list of who's here, but just so you know, you are free to raise your virtual hand. You can go to the reactions section and raise your hand if you have a question or comment. It's completely open. You know,
Yeah.
anything is up for grabs. If you have something that you don't want to be recorded, because this will eventually be public, just let us know and we can pause the recording. And yeah, all right. Off we
Yeah,
go.
and we love hearing from new people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that
And
being
here we go,
said,
Michael.
let's add spotlight.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, nice to meet y'all.
Yeah,
likewise.
good to see
Yeah,
you.
good to be here today. Yeah, so the question that I'll attempt to piece together is, I'll just give you an example. So I'm trying to discern the conditioned mind proactively creating thoughts versus thoughts just happening.
Mm.
So in an example, let's say in my own life, I run an online business, and in recent times, I've had some financial situations come up that were a bit challenging. So let's say if the bank account for my business is at $0 and bills do have to be paid, the conditioned mind will be like, I need to take more action. Maybe I need to make more videos or, reach more people, something like this, in order to bring in resources. Or are those thoughts just happening anyway, and they were going to happen almost in a predestined fashion? Or is the conditioned mind able to kick up a storm and attempt to do things that, yeah, I'm trying to discern when to take action, or
Yeah.
if it's just all happening anyway, or if there's some sort of forcefulness behind it in the way that I operate in the way that life operates through this character.
That's a great
Yeah.
question.
It's a really, really good question. Our conditions is always making things go forceful because we have this preconceived idea about what reality is. That's our starting point. We work with that in the second Fetter in the curriculum. And to be absolutely completely clear on what your conditions and your upbringing and everything has led you to believe what reality is, that is paramount for you to put yourself into the flow state where things just fall into place around you. Until you're there, things are forceful. Because we do have an idea of, if I don't have money on my account, the bills are not going to be paid. I have to sell my house. I'm going to be homeless and on the street. That is a base of fear that is not based in reality right now, but based on what you have been told, what you have seen as proof of reality being like that. So all that needs to be sorted in the second Fetter first. When you have sorted that out and you don't have a starting point anymore, because that is that is what everything is building on, if I can say it like that. It's that you are in a space where there's not a starting point. You don't create another video with the purpose of having more views so you can pay your bills. That's the wrong way to have a business. because you're doing it based on conditions then, and you're doing it with expectations. And like I'm saying in so many of my videos, if you have any expectation to an outcome, you are a victim. You're not free in this moment for things to unfold the way that they unfold. You have a very set in stone idea of what will happen. I will make a video, it will get hundreds of thousands of views, and I'm going to be contacted by people who want to promote me, and all that is the purpose of it. So when that doesn't happen, when your expectations are not lived out like you planned them to, you have a feeling of victimhood, and you go even further into the fear because things did not go according to plan. The whole point of really realizing all this is that you cannot plan anything. You cannot have an idea of if I do A, B will happen, because you don't know that. You don't know that. You need to be in the space where you allow things to unfold the way that they unfold. And the greatest successes in your life always happen by things you did not know would happen. Because that is where the moment is alive. It's not where things are planned and then with a full expectation list of what would happen. But you're putting yourself in a position where things that you cannot foresee will happen. And you're completely okay with them happening because you do not know what that will mean further down the line. And with that constant unfolding that is happening, new things will present themselves that are not part of your planning and not part of your expectations. So I would recommend you to go
Thank you for that.
I would recommend you to go to the second Fetter and really, really look into your underlying beliefs, looking into a toxic starting point, and then come back next Tuesday and tell us where you are at, and we're going to follow up on it with you.
Can I also muddy the water a bit though?
Yes. Yeah, muddy away.
Yeah. The thing that I would add though is that we do want to be aware that we don't use this stuff to like bypass action or to spirit away issues in the practical world. And so there can be that feeling of like, well, if I just lay back, it'll just take care of itself, and maybe I should not.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
I know, but I want to make sure that it's clear that we're.
If that wasn't clear, please muddy away.
That we're. If it feels like you should be doing something, then perhaps you should actually be doing the thing and not waiting for something else to just kind of happen. What you're talking about is really this feeling of flow where when you are out of the way, it does kind of take over on its own. And that's wonderful. But if that's not what's happening for you right now, it can be something where you can just take that on as a belief and then just become passive in a way that is not really helpful. So what I would say is to be relevant with the thoughts. If a thought comes up that like, okay, I have $0 in my bank account and I have $2,000 worth of, bills coming in the next week, I have to do something about that. The difference is you might have a thought that says I should do something about that. Take note of it. If it becomes a perseverating thing where now it's feeding into all of these what ifs and all of the anxiety about it, and what if I become homeless, and what if, then those are not helpful thoughts, right? So be aware if the thought is a relevant thing, if it's helpful, if it's beneficial, if it's timely, that it's actually useful now in this moment to be like, okay, well, I guess I could actually look into other ways to advertise. I could look into that. Fine. If it starts to get into the realm of overthinking, of that perseverating anxiety or feeling like forcefulness, something needs to be done in a way that like I'm scrambling to do this thing and just kind of grasping at straws or whatever action, that's not helpful. But it reminded me actually of the story that you were telling of the was it the man on the desert island? Was it or that parable of like, he's waiting on the desert island and he's like, God is going to save me.
Oh, and he's lying he's been taken up by a flood and is lying and praying for God to save him. And then there's a person standing on the shore throwing out a rope and going like, grab the rope. And the guy goes, no, God is going to save me. I'm sure God is going to save me. And he's flowing down with the river that is going down. And then a helicopter is coming. throwing out a ladder, grab onto the ladder. No, God is going to save me. God is going to save me. I know it's going to happen. That divine intervention will happen. And then he drowns. And then he stands next to God and going like, what the hell? You're supposed to save me. And the God went, well, I threw you a rope and I sent you in a helicopter. What do you want me to do?
So yeah.
Yeah, it's also that seeing what is coming along, and then also be open to that. And I know you probably don't want to hear this, that the business that you have right now might not be what you're supposed to do. If it doesn't go well and it doesn't work out, you might need to be open for other things as well. And that is where the forcefulness come in, that we can be forceful about, no, this is what I want, this is what I burn for, this is what I really, really want, sell crocheted cats on the internet, and there might not be that bit of market for it. So you might need to
honestly,
do other stuff.
Crocheted cats would actually make a killing in this environment. I think that would actually be a huge
Make small memes about.
Thank you. That's actually what I do. So
No, I knew it. No, but is that just being open to that just because you have set your mind on this is what I want to do, it might not be time. There might be other things that you need to learn or develop, on people you need to meet. We do not know. So be open to where that also takes you, instead of being hell-bent on this is what I want to do. Because that forcefulness is never ever going to do anything beneficial. You need flow in it. Yeah. And if you have $2,000 bills to pay and zero on your account, it's not the crochet cat. You need to diversify and do something else, open up for other opportunities.
Because we do have to take care of the body and the physical world, and it's not about transcending all of that so that all of a sudden, everything is just taken care of and we don't have to think about any of that. There's still the practical world, even after awakening, after enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. Still got to eat, still got to have shelter. Like the bills, taxes still come in.
But that's third fetter. Yeah. I would really recommend you to start with the fetters from the beginning. Connect on Discord in the community that we have there, and then keep having this focus that you have regarding your business in your mind when you do them, to see where the underlying belief comes from and what it is that is actually driving you, other than enjoyment of your trade.
Yeah. And going back to that, that your original question about the conditioned thoughts versus just spontaneous arising thoughts. I mean, I would say that all thoughts are spontaneously arising, and all thoughts are conditioned by our past experiences and all of our beliefs and all of that. Really, I think the distinction there is, like I was saying, that if it's a conditioned thought based on a like a toxic starting point or something, where like I have a preconditioned belief that everything is dangerous, and there is, I'm working from a place of fear in everything. So every possibility is a possibility for failure and doom and demise. Then you can recognize, okay, is that actually relevant in this particular situation? Or is that just my MO, that every time a thought comes up, it probably has this as a starting point? And then you can be a little bit more cautious or wary of believing that thought necessarily. With obviously there are times when you are going to have fearful thoughts that are actually potentially relevant to saving the body in a situation. So there is some discretion and some skillfulness with all of this. Does that help?
Oh yeah, no, thank you to both of you. And what you just said at the end there was, I was about to ask you that and you just answered it. It makes a lot of sense, because thoughts are just arising, but they're colored by the conditioning of the past of the self structure.
Yes.
So that was a combination of both of it together. So thank you for the answering the question there.
Yeah. It's you will find that there are two lessons that are about the bubble of reality that we call it, and that is basically that you cannot have any thought that is not about you. You cannot look at us and judge who we are without it being about you. You cannot read a book or see a YouTube video or anything and have ideas about what that is about without that being about you. We can, like Todd just did in the meditation that we had, everything you think you see, hear, smell, taste, touch is a reflection of you. So it's very important to be aware of that there's nothing just spontaneous arising. It is all causes and conditions, and all of it is based on you. And there's so many pointers to you to what needs love and compassion and what needs to be looked into deeper. Yeah. Good. Come back so we can hear how you're doing.
Yeah, I'll update you guys for sure.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Good to have you here.
Happy you're here.
Hi. Remove the spotlight.
Anna?
We got Anna next.
Hello,
Hey,
Anna.
Hello.
Thank
Very
you
happy to see you all.
Thank you for all your work on Discord. You're
Thank
absolutely
you.
amazing. You're so supportive and you're so spot on. Whenever I'm in there and I'm reading some of it, I'm just like, yeah, giving you gold stars. I love it.
Very much.
So good. Yeah.
Because I'm just, something comes up and I'm just sharing and comes up and sharing and then, just happens.
Yeah, it's you and Hannah are absolutely gold in there. The way that you
Hannah is
that you
brilliant.
guide people. Yeah, the way that you guide people and direct, look at that and go to that video or that lesson, or it's really, really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. I just would like to I think just to check up with you if I'm glitching something, or that's what actually is happening, or is that what his mind is making up.
Yeah.
So very rapidly things are changing recently with all that non-dual and them higher fetters, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is anymore.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter. So last night I noticed something changed with so I was laying in bed and listening to the video. And normally it would be I am listening and understanding, which it kind of changed for perception of hearing, or just hearing itself, and there was no understanding, no remembering. It's just sounds are happening and you can't grasp on them. And even now, when Michael was talking, I can't hold it together that type of way. But what happened at lunchtime today, I noticed this before, but I don't know, probably just didn't look at that as closely. And what I noticed today at lunchtime when I went for a walk, how could I say that? It feels like everything what is happening, it's blipping, happens that, and it's so rapidly.
Yes.
And something trying to glue it together, but because it's very, very subtle and it's happened so quickly, it's just boom, 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 boom,
yes.
gone. Yeah, and it's moment, next. And because it happens so quick and it's so subtle, it feels like a film, continuous film.
Yeah.
And anything, say past, it's it feels like pulling, a effort. It really feels like you're pulling something into here and trying to hold something here, what is not actually here. And when I was driving now from work home and see him again, that's something is sounding there on the radio, and it's just like this, and you can't hold that information together. Yeah, and it feels like you don't understand, you don't remember. And when you drive, it just feels like you're here.
I absolutely get it. Yeah.
Also, body, feels vibrating the way of it. And even a thought, it doesn't seem like it's continuous. Even thought, it's just like this.
Yes.
And even breathing, it felt like I'm breathing in and breathing out, but even that is just tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
So am I not glitching that way?
No, yeah. You're having 6 Fetter experiences. You're having very, very clear, at least how I see it,
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
very clear six fetter experiences that you're beginning to see reality for what it actually is. You're no longer believing that video that the mind is playing, because we have like that video when you look around the room right now, that is like the brain that is creating a full video. If all of you look from the right to the left in the room that you're sitting right now, the first experience you have of it is like a very continuous video. But if you do it again and notice your eyes, you can see your eyes going ding 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 ding
Yeah.
ding ding, and every time you blink, you have one of those what Anna is describing. So it is like ding 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 ding, and you can start to really notice that there's nothing continuous about this except what the brain is leaving me to believe is continuous. It's not. It is incremental ding 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 snapshots that are glued together, and then we believe it to be. That is the six fetter thing. What you talked about with the past, when you think about the past, the first time I experienced that, I had the feeling of, you know, when you're at the beach and you're looking at the waves and the waves are coming in and then they're like swashing in quite hard and then they're like slowly going back out. And that feeling that was there, that was like how it was to hold on to ideas about my past. That it was like that boom swooshing over me, a feeling or images or thoughts about the past. But holding on to it was like trying to hold the wave back, where that was just like, how the fuck did I ever get depressed about my past? How did that even happen? But it is that swooshing of emotions that can overflow you with sadness or depression or whatever is happening, thoughts about your past and whatever has happened, that wave that is coming in, the mind needs to hold on to it and believe this to be true. If you're really, really in the moment, it is just a wave going back and you can't hold on to it. There's nothing to hold on to. It's just disappearing, and then the next wave come about a cute puppy we saw today, and then the next wave come about, you know, something else. So I would say that where you're at, it's six fetter.
And thoughts, I could never understand when people say, you know, thoughts are also sensations. But yesterday I was just like very, very clearly, you know, like it's like a movement, like watery, like waterbed, you know, it's just like moving and like really feels like sensation. Yeah. So okay, at least I'm not glitching.
You're not glitching.
You're not glitching.
No. I would also just add though to not expect that you know, don't cling to this. Like don't expect that it's always going to remain like this or that you know, it should just get weirder and trippier from here or anything like that. It's like a temporary noticing of and it's not even that like you had said, like it's, you know, seeing the reality of the situation, but don't even get caught up in the idea that that is like an actual reality. It's like another way that you're experiencing something one filter fewer than normal. Like normally we have that thing where the brain is just taking a whole bunch of things as you described and then seamlessly putting it together. You're seeing it now without that, but it still doesn't mean that even that is actually like reality. It's like one more way that the brain is just fabricating things based on
So, absolutely good, because that is what you did with your meditation, that even when you see, oh, it's just a glimpse and a glimpse and a glimpse and a glimpse, whatever you still believe is out there is not. It is in here. It can't be anywhere but in here. You know, we have no idea what is out there. We just know what we think it is.
Yeah.
So even that, even that.
Yeah, what's getting projected out.
Yeah. But even that has to be let go of.
Yeah. Don't catch on or cling to any of it. It's just new experience.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that novel? And then
It actually very, very true, Todd. I remember last time, like we were chatting and like there was something changing, and you said it's going to change, it might go back, it might to change something else.
Yes.
So good you say that because it does, it constantly changing, 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 changing.
Yeah.
It's like, it can go like nobody, and then there is bodies, there is no boundaries, everything comes here, and then there is something emotional comes in, and then there is me here, and then there is no me here. It's just like boom, 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 all the
Yeah.
time, all the time. There's nothing is like this is this way. Yeah, it's just like all the time, all the time. And any there is no even attempt to hold on something.
No.
And even if that happens, you can see how this grasping is happening. Also, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love it, Anna.
Great
Love
to see you as
Good to
always.
see you.
Yeah, we got Jeremy back.
Yay.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well. And things had been things have been going well for a while. I thought that for much of the lower Fetters, I had seen through things. Driving, relations with my family, my dogs, very few reactions. And when in situations that come up where I would feel some emotions, I could sit in the gap and be much more aware. And then recently, I discovered I discovered something that actually been the most challenging, and that is American football season started again, and the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know what it is. This isn't necessarily a new. It's not like this is a total surprise to me because throughout my whole life, sporting events have had that ability. Just thinking about it right now, my heart is racing. And I realized how, well, for the last couple of years, I would have so much stress and anxiety and discomfort watching a game live that I stopped watching them live and I recorded them. And then I'd check the scores later. And if they won, I would watch the game. If they lost, I wouldn't. But what I realized this year is that it doesn't matter whether I watch the game or not. It's like knowing that the game is happening, but not knowing how it's going or not knowing the results, still those sensations arise. And it's unlike most of the other stuff that I've looked into and worked with. It's very, I don't know if it's not dissolving. I don't understand it. I can't it's been confusing and I'm continuing to try to look into it. Take it to the lab when their games aren't happening, if you will. I'm curious about your your perspective and whether you have any suggestions beyond just keep doing what I'm doing. And
No, I'm curious to what is actually going on.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I'm so fascinated by this because it's one of those things where I've never been into sports, so I've kind of like missed that whole thing. And I remember talking years ago with somebody who was like really big into football, and he was saying that, for him, it's like this cultural identity of like, having like a local sports team or a regional sports team where it's like you feel really one with and identified with it. And there's this, there's so much like family quality to it. And I'm like, okay, I can understand that from that perspective, like the allure of it. I never had it, but I get that. But I'm curious from like doing Fetter work and, awakening stuff for you, how that identification factor plays in with this. Like, what is it about that game that because the way you describe it sounds like there's something physically on the line for you in this. Like there's like, I mean, I don't know if you like bet on it, but I mean, it's the sort of thing that like, like people who have like thousands and thousands of dollars riding on the game might feel. But I'm wondering like what your attachment or identification with it is that makes it such a danger for you, that whether they might lose.
Yeah, it's exactly my question. What is the internal experience? Because it's not I don't think it's about football. It's about an internal experience, and that's exactly what I would like to hear more about as well.
I know it's not just about football. I know that it is, it only arises with teams that I feel some sort of identification or connection with. So I could watch, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Giants play a game and have and just be able to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
But if it is a Minnesota team, if it's a college team, if it's high school, I mean, I experienced, and thinking back, this isn't a new phenomenon for me. This has been from when I was a kid. And I've been trying to figure out whether there's this, like whether I feel or I fear, uh, whether it's criticism from other teams' fans telling you that you're terrible and no good, whether it's potentially related to like performance and excellence, and not making mistakes and not failing and not doing a bad job.
You're still a step too far out. You need to zoom in closer. How does it feel in the body?
Oh, sure. I can feel it now. I can describe it because just thinking
describe it
about
to
it.
us. What do you feel in your body right now?
I feel heart pounding. I feel it's not so much tension, but just a total like it's like this part of my arm and my chest are like primed for like taking an action. So there's just like a buzzing and a like adrenaline,
Yeah.
vibration and energy. My lips are vibrating, shaking a little bit.
It sounds like you feel alive. No, but you know what I mean? That if we have I'm not saying this is you at all, but if we have a life that is very meh, then we can feel alive through other people, through dramas in real housewives dramas, or through football, that we get that feeling of being alive. Like you say, I feel life pulsating in my lips and in my arms, and I feel, alive. That is almost like you are about to play a game. You are about to run out on the field. You are about, and it's your guys, it's your your neighborhood guys that are doing it, so you feel alive through them. Then of course it's that is depending on it, that if they win, you feel more alive and you feel happy because you're living, understand me right, your life through them. Instead of you feeling, going into the kitchen and going like, I'm having a cup of coffee, then you feel alive through them playing. So what I would ask into is, could it be a diversion for something? Is there something that you're not acting on in your own life that it feels like, I can't deal with that? I know this is not you. I'm in a 9 to 5 job. I'm sitting in a cubicle. I cannot act on that because I have to pay the bills, but I feel alive. It doesn't matter that I'm in my little cubicle 9 to 5. I feel alive every single Sunday. Football Sunday is back. So it's kind of like that projection of things not being alive or not being maybe the way that you would like to live. No, again, I'm not talking about directly about you, but maybe not the way that you want to live your life, but you can kind of like pseudo living your life through other people that clearly are living their life. So you feel alive and feel alive with that. And obviously a lot is on stakes, because if they lose, you only got your little cubicle and you're not alive anymore.
At first, when you were describing that, it wasn't resonating. It's like, I don't know if that's quite it. But then it occurred to me that when the game is over, in many ways, it doesn't matter whether they win or lose. The feelings are gone. The sensations are gone. And even within a game, play by play by play, it's like once a particular play is over, it spikes with the anticipation of how is the next thing going to go. And then once the result arrives, then the I guess spike in the intensity of the sensations goes down. It's elevated throughout the game, and then when the game is over, then I know that once the result is there,
I still feel like there's a level of identification there, though, where it's like it kind of reminds me of like the emotional version of the rubber hand illusion, like, you know, the one where you rub like a rubber hand and a real hand, and you start to associate with it so that you actually respond if you like go to stab the rubber hand. And it's almost like that kind of association with the team or with how they do. And we can have this on anything. It doesn't have to be sports. It could be like, I mean, tonight's a political debate, right? I'm sure there are millions of people who are feeling that anticipatory anxiety right along with the people who are going to be in the debate, worrying about how they're going to do each question. They're probably going to feel that same amping up. Ooh, they got it. They nailed it. Oh, they really missed it and they should have done better. And then, in the end, did our team win? Did our team lose? And it's that same kind of tribal identification with virtually anything. I mean, yours just happens to be football. And when the way that you were talking about it, I get when you say like, the potential, like having other people in, I forget how exactly you put it, but like, criticizing you for, your team's sucking, or, and it's like, that becomes very personal. And I remember hearing, like, even back in school, I remember like people being like so defensive about their team because there's so much identification, even like in high school, with like major football teams, that like, that is, it's really insulting to them to like diss their team. You're basically insulting them or their mother or something. Like it's really hits home.
But and I recognize it from real football. Real football, when Denmark is playing, a real football game in the VM, in the or the European Championship, I'm rooting for Denmark completely, always. They're not always good, but they're there.
They're there.
But so it's like so I recognize the feeling, but I also feel how that is so seductive.
Yeah.
It is so seductive, and it is diverting from whatever is going on here that is not okay. I forget that because, the red and white on the field.
Yeah, but I think the flip side of that too is that there's also a lot of times, because you are so projecting onto that team everything from within you, if that team, like if you knew that your team had like the strongest defense ever, again, spoken from a guy who doesn't know anything about sports.
I think you're
like,
nailing it, babe.
Super, super strong defense. And somebody insults the defense, you're going to be like, dude, you don't know what they're talking about. Like, they have like the best, right? And it's that same thing in you, where like if somebody were to insult your worth or your productivity or whatever, if you were really solid in your confidence in that thing, it doesn't matter what anybody says about it. So I think it's what we can get from investigating these things is seeing like, what are those things that I am feeling vulnerable about when people criticize my team? Are these same things that I'm feeling vulnerable about when people were to say that about me?
Yeah. Or again, back to the diversion that
Yeah.
that I mentioned, that if you feel super vulnerable and you know that you're not completely nailing it in your everyday life, the guys are,
Yeah.
and you cannot criticize them at all
Yeah.
because, but they are,
Yeah.
So it can just be that diversion away from it, that there's something here that needs love and compassion that you're diverting onto the guys,
Yeah.
instead of just staying here with what is here. Can you be in a body that feel that you're not worthy of whatever is going on in your life right now? And then the football is just a diversion, so it feels a bit better to be.
What I'm taking away from this is that, and I think I've heard this before, like I don't have to really logically get to the bottom of it.
Mm.
I I don't have to find like the thought answer.
No.
No.
But what I do need to do is continuing to sit with whatever sensations are arising,
Yeah.
acknowledge, welcome, love them, and just
Yeah.
be with them. Breathe
Yeah.
into them, feel it.
And when you're sitting and watching football, if you can just, when the commercial break or whatever, just take a moment and close your eyes and feel, how is this about me?
Yeah, I was
How
literally just gonna say that. I love
There you
that.
go.
Love that.
How is this about me? How is this something that I need to look into? How can I, you know, where am I right now in my, emotional stability? What is going on in me right now that is either being diverted from or emphasized?
Yeah, exactly. And also recognizing like you are not actually playing the game right now. Like sitting here, like really like feel into your experience and like, how is this actually about me?
Mm.
Like it feels very real, but is it? And it's questioning the validity and the yeah, the accuracy and the reality of those thoughts
Mm.
and or those feelings that come up.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'll just add that that's what's made this so interesting and fascinating is that um it's so trivial.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so, but it's been one of the harder ones.
Yeah.
Especially, you said you've had this like a lifelong thing, right? Like this isn't like
Oh yeah.
a new passion.
Yeah.
Even playing it in high school, I played basketball and golf,
Okay.
and I had the same, at least my memory of it,
Mm.
similar
Yeah.
adrenaline and anxiety and nervousness and
And
all
we
that.
feel so alive. So what is it in our everyday life that is not feeling alive?
Hmm.
What is it in this, you know, Monday to Sunday life, beige meh, that is happening that does not feel alive? And then the Sunday football comes on, and then I'm alive. Then everything is only all of a sudden technicolor again.
And especially if it brings back memories of, if you've been through playing sports and you felt those things back then,
Mm.
it's like, you could have that with anything. Like if you were a musician that performed and then you're watching other people perform, it's like you can have that same feeling of, performance anxiety beforehand or whatever. It's like I'm feeling that
Mm.
empathically what they're feeling because I've been through it myself and I know what they're feeling and it re-triggers that in you as if you were really there again.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you might have just unlocked something for me. I uh, played piano for years growing up, and the the sensation, like that sort of energy that I'm feeling in my hand, that I
Yeah.
described feeling in my hands a moment
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is exactly what I would feel when I was performing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
It never happened practicing. It was only in front of other people when the
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is something about that aliveness when you are performing, when you were performing live, that there's something about that aliveness that might be missing in your life now. Not that I want you to start, to step into traffic with blindfolded or something like that. But there might be something in your life that can become more, where you can become more present instead of just being in the same rigmarole every single day. You might, making a cup of coffee in the morning into a super awareness, interesting experience where you're really here and here and here. So you start to wake yourself up in your everyday life and feeling that aliveness that you felt in your hands just before performing.
Thank you. This has been great.
You're welcome.
Amazing.
Appreciate it.
So much.
I just wanna say, Hannah, she said in here that the second fetter is a gift that keeps on giving. So many hooks and tentacles into everything, and it's absolutely true. Just doing the second fetter once, we can always, with the newfound experiences and insights we have had, we can always go back and find more. So I can warmly recommend that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You too.
I just want to say, Caesar was the next in line.
Yeah, no, he said, guys, I need to drop off. Thank you so much for the meeting. See you in the next one. Yeah.
Okay.
So, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Harlan.
Harlan, hello.
Hey.
Unmute.
There we go.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I gotcha.
Okay, great.
Good
Hi,
to see
guys.
you. Hi.
You too. Yeah, I just wanted to talk briefly about Pernille, about your last post that you did, not on the Discord, but on the Awakening Curriculum site. It was a post about trauma and spiritual bypassing, that sort of thing. That was really, really good for me to read that, because this was an area I was confused about for a long time. When I first joined Awakening Curriculum, I thought that you were going to mostly be talking about things like seeing through the illusion of the separate self, Buddhist emptiness, separation, all concepts like that. But yet you spent a lot of time helping people talking through trauma, past trauma and stuff like that. And I was always very confused as to why you were doing that, because to me, I had always thought that trauma is things in the past. It's not in direct experience. It's not in the now. Thinking about trauma is in the past. Reliving it is in thought. It's all in thought. It's at this point, it's irrelevant. It's illusion. But yet you made the point in this post that you can't just ignore it, that you can't hurt from the past can't just be skipped over or bypassed, that it could even impede awakening.
Yes.
Or even if you do awaken with it, it will still hamper you some way. So that's what I'm mostly wondering about how come, why is it? I thought if it's all thought, it's the past, so it's thought. Why are we dwelling on past trauma?
I think it's because a lot of the traumas we have experienced has happened in the period from the last trimester until we're about 16, 19 years old. The majority of trauma has happened in that period, and it's the same period that our body is developing. So our ligaments, our fascia, our tendons, our muscles, everything is being shaped into creeping, crawling, into standing up, walking, running, reaching out. Our reflexes, our fine motoric senses, all of that is being shaped in the same period as the feeling of a separate self is being shaped. And if we have any type of trauma or dramatic experiences that are not lived through because we don't have the emotional capability or maturity at the time, if you experienced something when you were 5, that is locked into the muscles, into the fascias. That's why you can experience people dancing to the music that Todd has made. They're standing and shaking, and suddenly they're bawling their eyes out. and they don't know why. They're not sad. There's nothing in their life that they're sad about, but they cannot stop. They're sobbing. They cannot stop crying. And then after a minute, it stops and it's gone.
Yeah.
And they just feel relieved and almost high.
I remember, sorry, no, go ahead.
Yeah, it's because that has been locked into the muscles, and we have been dragging that along for 50 years. Every single conversation we have had has been made with that starting point of whatever it was. And a lot of times we can't even put words to it. That's why we're so, adamant about do not create a story. Do not create a story. Let the body experience and express, but do not create a story. Because if something happened when you were 5, if you create a story when you're 50, the story will be different. If the experience was when you were 5 that you put the blue beads in with the yellow beads, and you felt so much shame when the adult went like, no, that's the wrong box for the blue beads, and you felt so shameful. That's relevant when you're 5, not when you're 50. So we can't have the blue beads with the yellow, but why do I feel shame about that? We cannot understand it because we have moved on intellectually and are mature now emotionally, but the feeling in the body is the same. And it's that feeling in the body that needs to be released. Otherwise, that is holding us back. I listened to a monk. Well, was that yesterday or this morning? Can't remember. And he was sitting. I really enjoy listening to him, and he was sitting and talking about what was that? It was about speech. It was, yeah. What's that called?
Right speech.
Yeah, right speech. He was talking about right speech, and he was talking about when to say to other people that they are doing wrong. And the way that he said it, he did a sniffle. And I know that I'm autistic and I know that I'm picking up on everything, but he had a sniffle at a point when he said it, and he said it in a way that was he was trying to justify an action that he had done towards another monk. He didn't say all that. That was my understanding of it. But that sniffle just showed me that right there's a point you need to deal with. There's something in you that you still are speaking harshly to people. You are judging them because you are judging you. And he might not be aware of what he's judging himself for because he was 5 or 2 when it happened, but his entire body is reacting when the other one is, I don't know, eating noise, making noise when they're eating, and he's getting annoyed about it, and then he's not, mindful and skillful in the way that he's telling the other monk off, but he feels righteous about it because the Buddha says that you can do that. That whole scenario would not have happened if he was doing some embodiment where he would release all of those things. So it's just very long way to say that whatever we have embedded in us, whatever trauma we have experienced, is present today. Not as we think it was, but it's present in a way that we are bypassing that. I do not like when he's eating loudly, when he's making sounds. He needs to stop that because I feel uncomfortable. That's where the blaming, shaming, complaining come in, in the 5th fetter. The whole 5th fetter is all about dealing with our own things, all our own traumas, because it's what we want other people to stop doing so I feel better. And it's that ick that we have in the body, that if you can be with that ick, if you can release that ick, they can eat the way they eat, and they can drive the way they drive, and they can vote whatever they vote. They can do whatever they want because I'm okay with this ick. I can be in a body with this ick. I don't have to bypass anymore.
Okay. Yeah, so I can see what you're saying. Yeah, so it's not just thoughts. Trauma is not just thoughts about the past. It is actually locked
visceral.
in the body.
It's visceral.
It's visceral. Yeah. It's in the muscles.
Yes.
And it's going to stay there until something. And it seems often it's a physical thing.
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
that releases it, like you
Yeah.
said, dance or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
I was,
Or
Yeah, go on.
sorry. Well, I was going to say, I remember even back like when I was in my early 20s, I had a friend who was going to school for physical therapy. And part of the training was they were like doing some release where they were working with, with each other in the training. And she said they would hold it and all of a sudden they would just burst out in tears and like no idea why, but it was just something that was released in there and it just,
huh.
and there would just be this emotional release. And and that's in physical therapy training. I mean, it's not like there's any like mystical woo or psychological thing about it.
No.
It's like just this is locked in the body, and if you move it and you hold it in a certain way, that thing releases, and whatever associated emotional response that is there just releases with it.
But
Yeah.
it's also just to say that we only bypass when there's a visceral experience that we do not want. When a visceral experience is making us very, very uncomfortable and we
Yeah.
do not want to feel that, then we bypass and say, but there is no I. There is no I. So whatever is happening, for example, you say something, I get really angry, so I kick, a bucket that hits the wall and it scatters all over, and I go like, well, I was just angry. I'm not angry now. I'm not angry now. That was just a reaction that occurred. That's fine. There's nobody here that got angry. There's nobody here that got angry. So there's nothing. That is bypassing. That is bypassing. Something happened that I do not want to feel. So therefore, I kicked the bucket with, that was a reaction. When you have seen through all your shit, there's no reactions left. There's no reactions left. That is just, happening. There's no need to bypass anymore. Whatever happens can happen, and it's fine.
And you can do this through talking or through inquiry, right? You don't have to go for massage or Alfine
No,
or
no. No, yeah, inquiries are really good, but our favorites are in your everyday life. The moment you feel something contract, for example, like there's the debate tonight, or there's football on Sunday, or there's like all of those things that happen in your everyday life, Janice at work, whatever, something is happening, and you feel a contraction in your body that sparks, a feeling of anger or annoyance, or you're getting irritated, or whatever it is. That is a reaction. That is a diversion from something that needs your attention. So it's more, instead of doing a peak experience of massage or peak experience of embodiment dancing or whatever, be aware in your everyday life of what is arising and stay with that and stay with that and stay with it. Instead of bypassing, going like, I'm just a little bit nauseated. It's fine. It's nothing. Well, nauseated is not your waking up in the morning go-to feeling. So something just happened. Just stay with that and feel what it actually is.
Yeah. And I just wanted to address the thought side of it briefly. Very similar to what we did in the meditation and what we've talked about in other places. The reason why, even though traumatic stuff is like the memory is just a thought, the reason why it's important to still be aware of these things and to go back to the starting points and all that is because, as we've been talking about multiple times, everything that we experience is our projection. It's all happening as a root of the mind. All of those formative experiences that we have had have shaped the mind which is creating this world from moment to moment.
Right.
So if we have that basis of, I was once out at night and I got attacked. Now, every time I'm out at night, I feel like I am going to be attacked. Every time I'm alone, I feel like I'm going to be attacked. There must be danger everywhere. When we get into any of these, we start to feel and see something, and our entire world is based off of that experience, which, yes, even though now, if I think about that attack, it was a thought, it still is polluting and coloring every single experience that we have. So that's why it's still important to recognize that that is there and that is creating the world as we experience it. And as we talk about with the foundational triangle, I envision it like the first fetter is up at the top, and then you have like the second fetter and the third fetter. And the second fetter is helping to reinforce these stories about me and the way that I believe myself to be and the way I believe the world to be and all
Every
of that.
single every
Yeah.
single opinion you have, like just saying it's dangerous to go out at night.
Yeah.
That is an opinion. It's not dangerous to go out at night. That is a thought that you have because of something you have been told or something you have been experienced. On its own, it's not dangerous to go out at night.
Right.
So every single thing we have that is just a go-to, that is shaped in the second fetter. And why, like Hannah says, that is just the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Every time you
Yeah.
go back to it, there's more.
And it reinforces all of that sense of an I in so many different ways. It keeps substantiating that me that needs to be better protected or better, or who does things wrong, or who is in need of, is unworthy of love or unworthy of being here, or any of the number of things that we tend to get locked into. All of that is reinforcing that sense of a me. And all of it is because of some thought, which now is probably, you can go through your life maybe without even thinking about those things or even remembering what happened, but it's still coloring what is here now. So you no matter how awakened you get, there's no such thing as a completely unfiltered experience of reality. But we're just getting rid of as many layers as possible and noticing more and more that there is no such thing as an absolutely pure experience of unpolluted reality. This is always going to be some way our projection, but the more we are aware of what we are adding into it, the more we can be less swayed by the belief that it is actually true or real. People who are completely identified with the mind, who have like absolutely no question about, if I believe it, it is true. If I feel this way, it is true. And if you think differently than me, you are wrong. Like, you are so identified with every thought because you really believe that the way you experience the world is the way that the world is.
Right.
No question. What we're doing is basically creating more and more ambiguity there, because we're starting to recognize, well, I only believe that it's this way because there's a reason why I've been conditioned to feel like this room is the way that it is right now, and that a political party is the way that it is right now, and all of that. And we can start to have that humility and question, well, okay, this is my perception of it, but it's not everybody's perception of it. And it starts to break down that solidity of everything.
Yeah, like you often point to, if you have never been told about this, what would your underlying belief be?
Yeah.
And very often we start to see through our beliefs because, oh yeah, I was taught that, or I was told that, or I watched a YouTube video of somebody saying this is how it is to be awakened, that everything is psychedelic. So I believe that is it, and that is what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
But if nobody ever told you anything, what would your beliefs actually be? That's a really good, really good pointing to look into.
And the best resources for working through this is looking at the materials like in the second fetter, the third fetter,
the foundational triangle, the first, second, and third fetter, because they keep feeding one another. And it's also the ones that you keep coming back to when you then start to work with the sixth fetter, and you might have issues with dissolving the out there, because then this in here would feel unsafe or vulnerable. Okay, back to the foundational fetters. There's an underlying belief there that needs to be, and very often, like you said, it's not a thought. It's a visceral feeling of unsafety or vulnerability. It's a visceral feeling in the body that is sparking that idea of what reality actually is.
Okay. Good.
Really good question. Thank you, Harlan.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just say one last thing to Todd.
Yeah.
Todd, I just want to thank you so much. Your answer to my question on Fridays of last week's Q&A about the Ramana Maharishi type of who am I, what am I inquiry was amazing. It just anybody who's working with the first fetter on that should go back and just listen to what you said. I must have probably 30 books in my Kindle library on this topic, and that 10 minutes that you talked about it was so much more helpful than all of those 30 books combined. Is just blew me away. It was in the timestamp around 1 hour, 3 minutes in is where it
Okay.
starts. If anybody's interested to go look at it.
Amazing.
So
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
So appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thanks.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
See ya.
We should make a Harlan timestamp. Thank you, Harlan.
All right. Saad.
Saad.
Hey guys,
Hello, my friend. Hi.
How's it going?
it's good. I am really enjoying this meeting.
Ah.
Hearing, yeah, I wanted to ask about like I guess in my experience, it's been like most of my life, it's always been about like getting like kind of getting somewhere or doing something, or like here right now whatever's happening is not like good enough, and I have to like it will be good later. It's always been that sentiment. And I kind of figured this out at some point in grad school, which was like 10 something years ago. And then I thought that I was going to not do that. And then I did it again. Um, and now I'm finding that like I can't stop that. I don't know how. Every action that I take is always for something later. Um, I can't even find, I mean, I have a very hard time finding like what I do for the sake of just, right now. And that, I mean, that kind of this question was a little sparked by the first one
Yeah.
of the questions earlier.
Yeah. I completely get that. I can recommend you to really work with the fourth fetter and have a notebook where you write down the thoughts and the insights that you have, because there's a reason why you are not here. There's a discomfort in what is happening right now that is tolerated or lived with or accepted, not accepted on that, but what do you call endured? I mean endured. There's a discomfort in this moment that is endured because something better will happen. And that discomfort needs to be experienced. And you do it with the fourth fetter. You can be quite sure that the fourth fetter and the experiences and the insights you will have will take you back to the second fetter, because there's an underlying belief about who Saad is and what you are and what you can and what you can't and all of that will become very, very clear to you, and it will be very, very uncomfortable.
So like even this process of going through the fourth fetter and then going to the second is all for the purpose of something later. So I mean, I'm asking
I know.
in a realistic sense.
It's the reason why I'm pointing to the material is that there is something in you right now that is not okay. There's an experience of you that is not okay. It can be low self-worth. It can be that you have something in your life that you feel shameful about, that you feel guilty about, that you feel suppressed about, suppressed anger, that you feel fearful about. So there's a feeling in the body right now with an underlying belief that is not okay. And in the fourth fetter, you have all the material where both Todd and I, we take you in your hand and we're with you with every single thing that you do, where we keep having you focusing on now and now and now with all the inquiries that are there. There are 3 inquiries on 3 different levels. And both I have spoken it and Todd has spoken it. Depending if you want a female voice or a male voice, sometimes different voices have, different effects on the mind. But we take you in your hand and we're with you. So no matter whatever surfaces, we will be standing right next to you. You are not going to be alone in it, but the material is helpful because it's designed for a process. And even though you right now think that, then you do that and then you're sorted. Then there will be another one over there, which is Saad 2.0, the perfect Saad, where everything is just perfect. It's not how it's going to be experienced. Because what we are doing with the material is waking you up to this moment right now. And first there will be a lot of really seeing what it is that you think you are. Not who, if we ask you now and you with your intellect say who you are. Oh yeah, I think there's some fear from my childhood. Oh, there's a bit of shame about whatever from my childhood. That would all be intellectual mental formations that we consider do right now. They won't be as effective as it is if you do the material where we take you in your hand. So it's not meant to, say it will be much better when you've done that, but it's just that the proper material for that type of inquiry is there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. We got more to say. We got more to say.
Well, no, go ahead. Follow up because
I mean, yeah. I mean, I can do that. I can go through the material and then I'll report back. I was just wondering, in the meantime, do you have any like if I mean, this is how it feels for everything right now, whether it's like, doing chores or tasks or like day-to-day things, it just feels like, yeah, I can see them just doing this for just a more like pain avoidance or just like, oh, this bad thing will happen if I don't do it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is there a way to work, like any specific pointers on how to work with that as I'm doing it? Like I have something to do right after this, so I could use it.
Yeah. The pointer is that there is no next. There is just this. That when you're doing something, oh, the dishwasher needs to be emptied. Oh, now I'm gonna empty the dishwasher and then I'm going to sit down and relax. That then doesn't exist. There is Saad standing next to the dishwasher, taking one cup up and drying it extra because dishwashers suck. Drying it extra before you put it back in the shelf, turning towards the dishwasher again, taking a plate, drying the plate, putting it back. There's just that. There's nothing else. But when you do that, different emotions are going to come up. You're going to feel contracted in your chest. You're going to feel like a lump, like you're almost suffocating in your throat. You're going to feel your lower back hurts. You're going to feel so many different things. And then it's just, now I'm drying a cup and my back hurts. Now I'm drying a plate and I feel I'm almost suffocating and I'm now drying. So it's just keep being here now and now and now, instead of diverting into the future where everything is going to be great.
Yeah, love that. Also, notice if you have any thoughts that are coming up about possible negative consequences if you don't do this thing or you don't do it well enough, or the criticism, the judgment, the ramifications. Be aware of your internal space of like you said, how you feel physically doing this thing, but then also what thoughts are arising that are potentially sparking more of those physical sensations too. Do you tend to have like a lot of concerned, worried thoughts about doing these things?
I mean, I mean, I can see that they happen, and also that it's kind of clear that, like what you said, it's only right now. There's no then. I think it's clear. I mean, I've been making this mistake for a long time. So, or it feels like that. So it's clear now that there is no then, but now that there's no then and there's only right here, and there's thoughts about like, how could here be enough? Like here is definitely doesn't feel like it's.
Yeah.
If that's all we have, then oh man, I'm screwed. Like that's how it feels.
That's sorry.
No, well, go ahead.
That's tied in with expectations.
Yeah.
That is tied in with expectations. It's tied in with this life needs to be more than what this is, because this is not enough. It's expectations about something else that will make this bearable. This is, what was the word you just used? I forgot it again. Yeah, I forgot the word. Never mind. It's about that we live our life. We endure.
Yeah.
this life that is right here, right now, because something better is just around the corner. There is no corner. This is not about enduring. This is about enjoying what is here right now. And if you have that, fucking hell, I'm sitting in a cubicle. Again, I'm not saying this is you. I'm sitting in a cubicle 9 to 5, and I feel like, completely captured. I hate my work. I hate my relationship. I hate my children. I hate my neighbors. I hate my lawn that needs to be mowed. I hate all of it. Then there's a diversion from all that into the next moment. What we're saying is all those thoughts about all the things that you feel you are enduring, those are diversions too. Yeah, I hate my job. I hate my relationship. I hate my kids. I hate the neighbors. Those are diversions. You need to slow even further down. There's a layer underneath. There's a contraction in the body. That's the thing. That is the one you're trying to avoid. And that's the one that you need to stay with. And it will be something in the second fetter. It will be something from your childhood. It might be something you remember or something you can't remember, but there's a very clear feeling in the body of fear, anger, guilt, and shame, either or all, with an experience that you had at some point, and after that, you have been diverting and just waiting for the next moment, next moment, next moment.
Okay. Thank you. I will check out the material and also just feel into the body as I'm doing the things.
Yeah. And whatever surfaces is probably just another diversion. If you can put a label on it and say, oh, it's my partner, or oh, it's my neighbor, or it's on work, that's a diversion. Where it's really, really into something that is real, you cannot put any words to it because it's a sensation that is deep and that is scary and that is overwhelming, and then you have it. That's it. That is what you're trying to avoid.
So no matter how it seems or appears, or no matter how like obvious it seems externally, I don't listen to that story.
Probably still just a diversion. It's when you're lying, curled up next to the dishwasher in fetal position, then you have it. That's it. That's what you're trying to avoid.
Okay.
And then I would say after that, right? Like once you've done this, and this is for you and other people who maybe have been doing this stuff for a while, you can also, if you still have that feeling that like this moment is not enough, something else has to happen for this to be okay, be really curious and open to the raw experience of even that discomfort. And notice that without any labels, without any judgments that this is unacceptable, that a donut would be so much more preferable, whatever like your go-to deflection would be, just notice the sensation and see if you can find the sweetness, the just beautiful, interesting, raw sensory experience of even that contraction, of even that this is so bad, this cannot possibly be enough for life. I need something else. Really pay attention to what is actually here, not just what you think is here, and see if that actually stands up to scrutiny. When you are just absolutely aware of all of this visual and physical and auditory and gustatory and olfactory sensation that's arising in this given moment, how is that not enough? How is that not an incredible experience to behold, even if it has what we normally consider to be pain or contractions or discomfort or something else? When we're really, really clear on even those things without the judgment, the pushing away, the wanting for it to be different, when we're really present with just that experience, it is absolutely wonderful and rich enough and full enough and more than we could want. So
yeah, you're pointing at some because I left you a bit hanging. I'm sorry about that. That when you're lying in fetal position next to the dishwasher, and you have that feeling,
you're done.
You're done.
Enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy. And you have that feeling of of dread or whatever it is, allow it to be there. Let's say that you have a feeling of shame and memories from your childhood and the way the parents treated you and all of that, the bullying in school, all of that, it just comes like one after the other, and it's so much and it feels so big, and you just want to divert. You don't want this. This can't be life. This can't be what I'm supposed to live with. Allow it to be bigger and bigger and bigger, and allow it to be as big as it can get. And just breathe into that and just allow it to be there. And then start to notice all the things that are outside of that feeling. So, because then, for example, when we have a feeling of shame, it's like our entire body is filled up with shame. And we tend to believe that it's the entire world that is filled up with shame. But while you're lying there on the floor next to the dishwasher and you just feel like one big bundle of shame, you can zoom out so you kind of see yourself from above, where you have the kitchen and you're looking at you. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of kitchen around you. You can zoom out so you have the entire house around you. Zoom further out, the entire neighborhood around you. Zoom out, the entire state around you, the entire country, the entire planet around you. Zoom further out, and we know the size of the Earth next to the moon and the sun and all the other planets out there. And it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So that feeling of shame is even smaller. It's not even a pinprick on a dot on a huge galaxy map. So, and that is what we tend to believe is the biggest thing in the entire world. And it just isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Call us from when you're lying on the floor next to the dishwasher.
Good luck with it. And let us know how it goes.
Let us know how it goes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that was everything, wasn't it?
I think so.
I think we should take Caesar first next time.
Yeah.
When we come back, I'm gonna write him on Discord and say that he's first next time.
He's also, you can always write in for the next Friday.
Yeah, but I think he did last time.
Oh,
I think
one is supposed to take him first, weren't we?
I think we were supposed to take him.
We're not good at
We're so bad at that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Caesar. So sorry. Caesar is first next time. Could you guys remind us, because we can't. We clearly can't be in charge of this. Don't leave us in charge of this.
You left the children in charge of the. Not a good idea.
Oh, don't do that.
No.
Okay. I think that was it.
Thank you, everyone.
Next week, we're meeting on Friday, where we have the Q&A for members. You can write your questions to us live when we meet on the Awakening Curriculum channel. If you can't participate, or if you don't want to become a member of the channel, you can write the questions in Discord under the Friday Q&A, and then we're going to answer your questions there. And then I think you already have seen the poems that Todd he made. For you guys that came late, Lila, would you post the link again for the poems, because I can see some new faces, Catherine and Liz, and they weren't here when we talked about.
Keep talking for a minute so we don't.
Yeah. We keep talking. Nah. Anyways, you guys are gonna see the poems and all that before everybody else, but I think the first poem is gonna go up on Wednesday. We talked about.
I think so, which is tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow. So either Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah. So you have a day in advance, and if you really like it, really like the poems, then tell everyone. Okay. Tell everybody. You don't have to tell us. Also tell us, that would be nice. But don't tell us. Tell everybody. The more people are sharing it, the better.
Thanks, babe.
And yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for that.
That's the playlist. It's not that, Leela.
Right.
Oh, it's not that one?
No, that's the one you.
Yeah, that's the full playlist.
Yes, so that
wasn't up yet.
Just the Awakening.
So you want the one from earlier today? Okay, got it.
We have it here. We have it here.
I'm fast. Okay, I'm not actually. I'm not at all.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
So if you guys click this link now, before we log off, then you have the two poems that you guys are seeing now, and
And the little about thing.
A little
to
about.
see if you actually want to buy the book or not. Because there's
Yeah, but
a
also
really good
just-
chance you don't.
The about thing is awesome.
Thanks, Layla.
Yeah. Yeah, Todd is recommend you not to buy the book. Buy a book instead. Okay, I think that was
Thank
it.
you, everyone.
Thank you so much, you
So good
guys.
seeing y'all.
So good seeing
It's
you.
great.
Have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.